Hey guys, Arzin here, back with another video. If you remember, a while ago we reviewed the BittBoy version 2, but it was pretty much incapable of playing games that uses the ABXY buttons because of ghost inputs. BittBoy, noticing that, decided to release the BittBoy version 3 right after the BittBoy version 2 and 2.5. I actually ordered this one over a month ago, but it arrived very late. I'm sorry for that. Sorry for being late to the party. I hope I can make up for that by giving you as much insight as I can. So let's get into unboxing this device. So obviously over here we have the actual handheld with an SD card stuck underneath the screen protector, maybe to protect the SD card from damage as well. I uncovered the battery and found that it's the same 700 mAh Gameboy Advance SP battery as the one in the BittBoy version 2. Moving on, we find a little bubble wrap bag with the instruction manual in it and a micro USB charging cable and the SD card reader. Let's remove the screen protector. Underneath the screen protector is a SanDisk 8GB Class 4 SD card, which contains the custom firmware. Class 10 is faster, but this does the job well. Now, would you take a look at that? Those are fingerprints and smudges underneath the tempered glass screen lens. I can't have that, so I'm gonna do something about that real quick. I'll leave this part in for educational purposes in case you have the same issue, but I'm not responsible for any damages you might inflict upon your BittBoy. Now, with that out of the way, we can unscrew 6 screws that hold down the back cover of the BittBoy and the singular screw that holds down the PCB. Disassembly and assembly is very straightforward, which is good. Now, let's get rid of the gunk and the fingerprints that are underneath the screen lens and put the BittBoy back together. Now, let me say this right now. I put it back together and tested if it works or not, but I noticed this whiny noise that keeps going and going, which is called coil whine. Apparently, every BittBoy version 3 has this issue. According to my friend, I'm not sure. It's not that noticeable, but it still bothers me to some extent. Putting that aside, BittBoy claims that their device has a tempered glass screen lens. That means if I run my X-Acto knife across the tempered glass, it should not get scratched, just as this phone over here. And also, if all goes well, you can just put this in your pocket and not worry about it scratching against your keys or something. And I really have to give credit to BittBoy because it didn't scratch, which is awesome. Another thing we need to test out is how the buttons feel. The ABXY buttons just feel great. But the D-pad is stiff and mushy and doesn't feel good while playing games. The rest of the buttons though, they just do the job fine. Now, as far as build quality goes, it really feels good in your hands, and for the price point it really delivers. One of the shining features of the BittBoy is the gorgeous IPS screen panel. It's bright, has great viewing angles, and colors pop. Well, the only issue is the screen tearing, which bugs the crap out of me, but some can live with it. If you're that type of person, this might be for you. To control the screen brightness and the system volume, you have to hold down the select button and press on the respective ABXY buttons. Another thing to add is that if you do that in game, the select button will still be actuated. I thought actually a nice way to test the sound quality is by using this music player and playing an MP3 file. I'll compare it to the LDK as well. The speaker is pretty weak, but it does the job when you game. But compared to the LDK, it is not even a competition. Personally, I mostly game using headphones, so I'd like to test this out as well. Let's plug it in. The audio over the headphone jack is not comparable to phones and PCs, but on the LDK it does the job. The BittBoy, on the other hand, is struggling. The sound is kind of distorted and not very pleasant to listen to. So let's talk about the firmware. I upgraded mine to the latest version 3.9. I'll make a video on how to upgrade your BittBoy and LDK to the latest firmware, install packages, and make the most out of your handheld. But please consider liking, subscribing, and staying tuned. Changing your themes and skins and customizing your handheld is always a nice feature to have. The settings are quite straightforward and as you might expect, but apparently you're able to overclock your CPU. If this is functional, that would be a great addition. Now, let's test out some of the emulators and ports available for the BittBoy. For your convenience, I'll put up some bullet points providing information about the emulators and about the performance as well. I'd like to remind you that certain PS1 and SNES games need LNR buttons, which the BittBoy lacks, which is one of the gripes that I have with this unit, even though it runs those games probably fine. Aside from that, the D-pad and the screen tearing issues, I think this device is a great bang for your buck. It's a ton of fun having those retro games in your pocket. You can carry it at all times. It has tempered glass, which means it doesn't scratch. I consider that a necessity for portable devices, because I hate scratches on my handhelds. I don't slide the LDK in my pockets just like I can do with this one, which is a great edge over the LDK in my opinion. I already unboxed and reviewed the LDK. The link to that video is in the description below. Alright guys, now that we're approaching the end of the video, I'd like to say, if you enjoy retro gaming, emulation, and gaming technology at all, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and stay tuned. If you have a suggestion for any video you want to see in the future, be sure to leave them down in the comments below. I'll read them and consider them. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.